right, so I'm going to get us started. So I'll call the meeting to order at 5:33. I'm recording, Topsfield Cable is recording, and there's an AI recording. So um, I will read the virtual meeting language since we are via Zoom. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted via remote means. Members of the public who wish to watch or listen to the meeting may do so in the following manner: video conference. Login information is below. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the Topsfield website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, so we have two sets of meetings to approve. One is from April 28th of 2025, and the other is from July 14th of 2025. I'll just note, just as a reminder, I do put the language in there for the motion that needs to be made. So if someone wants to make a motion, the language is right there. You just have to read it. So did anyone have any questions on the April 28th draft minutes that were out there? Any changes? Does anyone want to make a motion?
Thorough. I see.
I'll make a
I'll move
motion.
to,
You go.
I move to approve the minutes from April 28th as presented.
I
I'll
second
second that. Okay, I'm going to take your
Okay.
second, Tom.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm learning, Michelle. I'm learning.
That's okay.
I'm learning. We're all still learning, Jake.
So the three things that happen is someone has to make the motion, which I try to write it there to make it easy. Then someone has to second it. And then because we're on Zoom, we have to do roll call. So I end up going around the room saying like Tom Capano. And
Aye.
what does Tom say? Aye.
Aye.
Yep. Zilly,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Jake,
Hi.
and we're missing Leslie and Kevin. So I'm going to pause us for a second. Oh, there he is. Kevin, I'm doing roll call for the minutes.
Oh, there's Leslie.
Oh,
Would you like
you
to
see
vote?
me? I don't see myself. Wait a minute. Where am I?
So I just need an aye. April 28th,
Aye.
2025 meetings. So
I
that's
don't know
from
what I'm
Kevin.
saying aye to, but.
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
I'm just going to break us up. So
There we are. Okay.
So Leslie, you're an aye.
Yes.
Okay.
Who am
All
I?
right. So we'll try to do this for the July 14th, 2025 minutes. Anyone have any comments or changes to those minutes?
Just a typo on my name in one of those sections.
Oh, no
Not-
way.
Well, it's, autocorrect is really good at catching it. Boujou. Under the business social update, this third sentence. It's okay.
That's the
I don't think
July
I even-
ones.
Yeah, July 14th. It's so not important really because it's correct in other places, but BH.
Sorry, and you said it was under which section? I just have it open. The business social update.
Yeah,
Oh, geez. Okay.
just BHUJU. And like I said, I don't think it would even have mattered if it wasn't fixed because it's pretty obvious that it's a typo, but
Got it. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hold on one second. I just have to find where I am. All right, so I'm going to make the motion because there was an amendment. So it's different than what I wrote there. So I'll make a motion to vote to approve the ECDC minutes from July 14th, 2025 as amended.
I second the motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Give it to Tom.
Yeah, we just did. So this is for the July 14th.
Aye.
Okay, Tom Capano,
Aye.
Leslie,
Aye.
Jake,
Hi.
Silly,
Aye.
Sarah?
I wasn't there, so I'll abstain.
Okay. And Kevin was here and he said aye. Okay. That gets us to the minutes. I'm just going to pause for a second to make sure I didn't forget anything. Perfect. All right, the next one is the charter, which this has been kind of a long-winded agenda item. Or a long-standing agenda item, not long-winded, hopefully not long-winded. In any case, you should have the document. It's one page. I've sent it out a couple of times because I've had it on the agenda a couple of times and we just didn't have time to get to it. However, we are going to get to it tonight. So I thought it is short, and some of the history to this is we had a question about non-residents joining the ECDC. So we decided to have a few people meet on the side to go through the charter because there was nothing specific in there about whether you needed to be a resident or not. So we thought we would just add language in there that was a little more specific, which Jake, no worries. We kept in there that you could be a non-resident as long as you were a business owner.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go through the document paragraph by paragraph. I think this is probably the most efficient way and just see if anyone has any changes. So just starting with the mission of the charter. The group that got together on the side, it was me, Zilly, and Sarah. We had no changes to that beginning paragraph. The mission of the ECDC remains the same. Did anyone have any changes to that or disagree? Same with the structure. ECDC is created by a majority vote of the select board. So even this document, once we all agree that if we like what's in here, the select board, then I'll bring it to the select board and they will actually officially approve the changes. Any changes to the structure language? Authority and responsibility. Hopefully you can see the markups that I made on the document. Did you have track changes on? Okay, good. So the only change that we made to this was if you go to the second paragraph, you can see second paragraph, second sentence, we changed the meeting cadence to be, but not less than every other month. We went back and forth between not less than quarterly and not less than every other month. So does everyone feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, so that means we'll at least meet every other month minimum, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah, no less than
Okay.
that. I mean, no
Yep.
more than that.
No less than that.
Or no further out than that, like, yeah. Oh, no less than
Yeah.
that. Okay, whatever. I'll stop talking. Go ahead, Michelle.
No less than. We could meet 12 times if we want. We can meet 20 times, but we can't meet less than 6 times.
Correct.
Okay, and then the other one was just really, excuse me, an administrative item. The last sentence, I'm going to read the whole sentence because this is a topic later on. Minutes reflecting general discussion topics and key points will be kept by any member so designated and submitted electronically if possible to the, and originally I think it said select board or something different, but it goes to the clerk's office and they then post it to the town website. So that's just updated for current process.
And I have a question, Michelle. So has the clerk's office been posting these?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, and I include, I believe I did it for this meeting, but I try to include our ECDC page from the town website so you can see that. That should be on my last email. So if you click on that, we have our own landing page for ECDC.
right. But the clerk's office has been posting this
They
all
have to,
along, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. There was one oops, and I
That's
forget
okay.
what month it was. And because it didn't get posted, I had to cancel the meeting. So there's by state law, it has to be posted at least 48 hours in advance. Okay, so we're good there.
I have a question. What about
Yes.
a representative from us will report to the select board in public sessions on projects, progress, et cetera? Is that you that does that?
I usually
I had-
do, but
yeah,
if
okay.
anyone wants to, so we did change the language to that. I think it said the representative or something else. it was something more specific, so we changed it to be a little bit more broad. So if anyone else wants to attend, we can always talk about that.
But I mean, someone has been doing this.
I have been, yes.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. So that last sentence, we did make a change to. Does everyone agree with that? It says now a representative. Okay. All right, so here's the one where we made most of the changes. So this is composition. So we're saying ECDC shall consist of up to 9 members. We didn't change that. It was always 9. From 4 to 7 members of the community appointed by the select board, with no more than 2 of those being non-resident community members who own a business in Topsfield.
It seems like
That
not
makes-
many. Only 2.
Right. Before it was
Being
not
non-resident.
defined.
non-resident. What?
Before it wasn't defined.
I know, but even having no more than 2 of the business owners be non-resident, that kind of limits business owners to have, to be, I don't know, just
But
seems.
don't you think it's kind of good to have Topsfield business owners mostly on this site that's evolves for Topsfield? We wouldn't really
Yeah,
want
but what
5
if,
people.
what if it be evolved that most of the business owners didn't live in Topsfield? Then that wouldn't be fair representation.
You don't have to be a business owner
Oh,
to
right.
be a member. You also don't have to be a member to attend a meeting. So I think the theory behind why we limited it to 2 was it's the work that we do is for Topsfield.
Yeah.
So it
I
was
see what you're
resident
saying. It's
focused.
beyond the scope of just businesses and sort of, yeah.
And then the last part of that paragraph or that bullet, non-resident members, and I'm going to ask for change live in this meeting. What we changed it to say was non-resident members are not eligible for chair or secretary position,
Mm.
but we don't have a secretary position defined in here. And I don't
Right.
think we've ever had have you ever had a secretary position?
No,
I think just
no.
the chair has just been taking the minutes.
Correct.
But
That's
it
right.
could change. Why can't we just leave it
Yeah.
in there to give ourselves some
Yeah, I
flexibility?
would leave it
Leave it?
because
Okay.
you might have someone volunteer in the future.
Yeah,
Okay,
not
that's
me,
fine.
but sorry.
Okay. Then that second bullet, we just updated to say, originally it was 2 members from select board, but we figured that was kind of overkill. So 1 member of the select board, elected by majority of the select board. So the select board votes on who will be the select board contact.
Is that in addition to the 4 to 7? So the total becomes 5 to 9? No, 6 to 9.
No, because if you have 7 in bullet 1, you have 7.
Yep.
Then you have 1 select board
Also.
member and then 1 town administrator.
Making it 9 or
Yep,
inclusive in
yep.
this? Okay.
Yeah. So ECDC shall consist of up to 9 members.
Okay. Part of my
That-
thought process was, I don't know why I didn't really think of this sooner, I'm sorry, but I also wouldn't want like non-residents to outnumber residents, sort of the opposite of Leslie's thought.
No, I agree.
That makes sense.
So
Right. Yeah.
But I was
town
just
administrator and 2.
about how the Downtown Economic Development Committee is primarily talking about business development. And so it just seemed like just 2 business owners just didn't, or even just seemed like it.
No more than
We
2
happen to be
non-business
lucky.
owners.
We happen to be lucky that we have a lot of Topsail residents that are business owners downtown, but that isn't necessarily true in many other towns. Yeah, or cities for that matter. Yeah.
Billy, I think your worst case scenario would be you'd have 1 town administrator, 1 select board contact. If you had no residents and just 2 non-residents, it would be 2 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine that.
I think it's
Maybe
fine the
Casey.
way it is. Yeah, it's fine. It's,
Well, you'd have to have 4. You could have 2 residents, 2 non-residents, then 1 select board, 1 town. It would be 3 to 3. I guess if you have an even number, maybe You have a
How do you get to
tiebreaker.
three, how do you get to three non-residents when it's maxed out
If
at
you
two?
had, well, if you had 4 members that are not a select board or town administrator,
Yep,
But what
so
are they?
of
But what are
those,
they?
of those, 2 would being non-resident, 2
Mhm.
being resident. And then
Mhm.
if you have, the select board member has to be a resident and the town administrator may or may not be. So let's assume that they are not.
Like
Then
that.
you would end up having 3 and 3, and the chair would be the tiebreaker probably, and the chair has to be a resident. So
point.
I feel like we're okay.
Mm.
I think
I just
isn't
had
the
to think that through.
story, like, isn't the moral to the story, and I know it has to be written out, but that we would like more Topsfield residents and business owners on this, on the ECDC committee, so that when we talk about things, we're focusing on Topsfield and maybe not having like 5 people from Hamilton. No, I know Jake's, it doesn't really matter, but we want to keep, I didn't mean to say anything about Hamilton. I just meant the majority of the people on this committee should either try to be a business owner or a resident, correct? So we can
Mhm.
focus on doing things in Topsfield.
Mhm.
So I guess Alex
It's written,
Karazi
it's all
is a
written.
Topsfield resident? Alex Karazi is a Topsfield resident? Because Jake is not, and, oh, so it's just Jake and Alex that are non-residents?
Yeah,
They own
actually, I'm
business,
gonna,
they own businesses though, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying they're not, that's what we have, is we have a maximum of 2 non-resident business people. So that's Jake and Alex, right?
at the moment, yes. So that's a
Okay.
good point. So I'm gonna talk about this a little bit. So bullet 1 specifies 4 to 7 members of the community. And of that group of folks, no more than 2 of them can be non-residents. I feel like Kevin is in his own bucket as the one town administrator.
Mm-hmm.
Does everyone agree with that? And if you don't, say, this is the
Yeah, no, I think
opportunity.
it's good.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to remind people why this was formed. And it came out of the effort to revitalize downtown and to activate downtown, right? So it's about, how the community of Topsfield wants to do that, wants to grow, so I feel like that's why you want it to remain mostly Topsfield residents, because we want to control the vision and the extent to which the downtown grows and revitalizes.
True, but you also need outside people and that people running businesses that can tell you what is going on and what's working for them and what isn't. But, having.
Right. But like we're
Yeah.
going to weigh in on like zoning and, like say you
Yeah.
had a board of all outside businesses and they were like, well, we're going to do 6-story buildings, like maybe that's fine, but it should reflect
Yeah.
what the people of Topsfield want it to be,
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense on both sides because honestly, if and a reason I joined is because anything that is we're doing downtown is going to benefit my business likely or not. So that's why I want to weigh in too, but also of course the residents have the final say of what's happening downtown, but the business owners too, like anything we're doing here, that's going to help my business likely, if we're making progress here, or I want to weigh in on things that, might hurt it. So I think it makes
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
sense both sides, to have both representation from both sides. So yeah, I think it's written well.
And I'll just go back, Leslie, and say, and I think we say this all the time, you don't have to be a member to attend these meetings. So any business owner, if they would like to come in and listen to and contribute to the conversation, they're welcome to
That's true.
in an ECDC meeting.
Sure.
Michelle, I just would ask this. So that says with no more than 2 of those being non-resident community members who own a business in Topsfield. So what if we had 3 people that owned a business, but they didn't live in town? Wouldn't that be okay?
No,
Like, why wouldn't we want that though? They own a business.
they can
Why
come to
would-
the meeting. Only 2 can vote. That's all. So we can have a
Yeah, this is,
balanced board.
It seems to me though, even if we had 3 business owners, if they didn't all live in town, they still have a real good vested interest in being on this committee and doing things that help the town. But it's fine to leave it at 2. But I was just putting that out there, like, if we had three, really wouldn't be a bad thing, as long as they owned a business.
Right, I mean, they can still attend a meeting, but I think the theory is
Okay.
that who wants to really, who wants to have the authority, I'll say, or the ability to weigh in on what happens to downtown Topsfield? And it really should be primarily residents. Don't you think? The residents that live
I
here.
don't necessarily agree with that. I think a resident or a business owner, more or less a business owner, would have a more of a vested interest in doing things in our committee, but it's fine. We can leave it at two.
So
I'm not
Tom, like,
I'm not-
I agree. Most business owners, we all know there's some business owners who aren't helpful in this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So you know, there are
But they have to be appointed
Others
though
who-
and approved though before they have to be approved and appointed by the
Right.
select board in order to be a member here, right? But it's
Your
okay. We
statement.
can move on.
Yeah.
We can move on. It's perfect. Leave it the way it is. That's perfect.
So I think going through all of this, there are no changes to the document as sent. Right? No
Right.
changes.
Right.
Okay. So with that said, ready for this? This has been in the waiting for like 6 months. I'm going to make a motion that we vote to approve the updated ECDC charter.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Tom.
Oh, can I just say one thing? You're going to remove the extra blank bullet point, right?
Which one is that?
There's like an extra bullet point at the bottom.
Yeah,
Just
Like-
nitpicky.
That's okay. After the word town, after administrator,
Yeah.
yes, the blank bullet point.
get rid of this.
Strike
Yeah,
that
I
from
will.
the form.
That's just
Uh,
formatting. So
Now
I
we
don't
have
think
to
you need
amend
to
it, right?
amend anything.
No, agree. Yes, minor formatting.
Yeah.
All right, so I made the motion, Tom seconded it, so I'm going to do by roll call approval of this, and what this approval does is just gives me permission to bring it. That means that we agree with the language that's in here, and then I will bring it to the next available select board meeting where we will review it again, and then that will be the formal approval. And then this document will replace the one from 2020. All right, so by roll call, Tom Capano,
Aye.
Leslie Voss,
Aye.
Jake Monroe,
Aye.
Zilly Boujou,
Aye.
Sarah Guido,
I
and Kevin Haratunian.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you very much. All right. We did pretty good getting through all of that. Oh, geez. As I flip the page to the next item. All right, we officially have to do voting for who you would like the chair to be for the next year. So if anyone is interested in being chair, feel free to raise your hand.
Could we make a motion to nominate? Can we nominate you?
You can, yes. Yeah.
I would like to nominate Michelle Mercier-Link to continue on as chair in her incredible skill with the ECDC.
I second the motion.
Anything else? It's really the next question. That's the difficult one. Okay. So with that, by roll call, Tom Capano,
Aye.
Leslie Voss,
Aye.
Jake Monroe,
Aye.
Zilly Boujou,
Aye.
Sarah Guido,
I
and Kevin Haratunian.
Aye. Michelle, can I ask you, are you interested in continuing on?
I know.
Oh, yeah, I do like, yes, I
because-
do.
No, because honestly, we could motion, but I wanted to ask if you are interested in it. I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but are you still interested in it?
Of course. I really like this group. You guys do a great job.
Well, we like you too.
Thank you. Good thing, right? Okay, so the minute taker role. So I'm just going to note a couple of items before we get to this topic. One is we will meet no less than every other month. So there's at least 6 times we need to do minutes. And with my new role as vice chair on select board, I have minute duty on that as well, although I do get a lot of help with that. So what I was hoping for, and as I got closer and closer to this meeting, I had different proposals, but I did not see that we had an actual secretary or clerk on our charter. So what I wanted to propose was, would it be possible that we can, because we can make it anyone, it's whoever we designate. Would anyone be interested in doing it? Like, I can do it this time, someone does it the next time. Do people find that's inefficient? I mean, it would just save a little bit of time because it does take some time.
Michelle, does this AI meeting notes thing actually give you a transcript after?
And I think it does. But what I normally do, which is probably a little bit old school, is I cannot take notes and run a meeting at the same time. I jot down notes, but I can't do the notes that would be comprehensive enough to put out there as minutes. So what I end up doing is this is being recorded with video. I'll go back and I will actually watch the video again and take the notes. There's probably something in AI that I can do, but at the moment I just haven't had a chance to look at it.
I wouldn't mind taking turns. I do want to check in about like what the expectation is as far as thoroughness. Like my understanding of what's required for open meeting law has evolved over the years. And it's supposed to give someone so they kind of know generally what happened. And then very important to record any voting.
Yes, that's right.
So
It's not a transcript. It's
Right,
not
not a
intended to be a
transcript.
transcript. Right.
So that can be arranged depending on who's doing the minutes. Is it okay if, as we take turns, there might be different styles? If people have different styles, that's okay, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, okay.
As long as the goal is met of that the language is thorough enough that someone can understand what we discussed and what we voted on, but not
Mhm.
necessarily a transcript.
Yeah. So I would be happy to take turns. It's a nice way to softly get someone back in the ring. I've successfully declined helping with minutes for a while on a few committees. I've done it a lot in the past, so was
I would
taking a
take
long
turns
break.
as well. That's all good taking turns from my end.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, if we could see where the AI meeting notes go to afterwards, that would be awesome though. If you can, I don't know if that goes to Sam or who that goes to since she's on the Zoom.
Yeah, I will, because it definitely comes up as recording, and you probably get the same message, but it says Zoom AI is recording. And
Yeah.
then I also hit the record to get the video.
Okay.
But I'll check on that.
Yeah, because I think that would be helpful too.
I mean, I know it's not the most glamorous job is doing the minutes. What I will tell you is it is very helpful to remind me what we talked about to make sure that when I update the select board, I'm up to date. And if there's anything from a previous meeting that we committed to following up on, it was very helpful. So we have 3 people now. That might be enough. We can test that out. At least it's not every month. So it would be like, I'll get this month, either Jake or Zilly gets the next meeting, and then we'll just cycle through the 3 of us for now, see if that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Jake brought up a good point about the AI. I'm not volunteering for this, but that's interesting that AI will have that's interesting. He brought that up.
Yeah, so Zoom has an AI recording function that Sam has it set up to automatically record. And
Yeah.
I believe what it does is it's basically a transcript of all the discussion.
See, that's awesome. That would, yeah.
That could
Yeah,
help,
'cause
yes.
Yes.
you could use ChatGPT to upload the templates of the meeting minutes and then put the transcript in, and hopefully it would pull out some of them. But I'll test the theory. It'll probably be wrong.
Love it. Love it.
And then I'll probably do your way of just listening to the video. So
All right, awesome. Thank you very much for helping out there. There's one thing I didn't put on the agenda, and I I think I can go off agenda a little bit because it was not, I just totally forgot it. Before we get to town administrator updates, we didn't talk about the, or maybe I'll say, let's do town administrator updates, and then I'm going to take the first item. We didn't talk about our business social that we had in August, which was amazing. And we had it at the barn at Meredith Farm. And we had a good turnout, and it was a great night. We had a great sunset that we were able to see right from the barn. And we had Senator Bruce Tarr attended, and Kristen Kasner attended. And it was really good. And they got up and they spoke, and Tim and Brig went over their plans for 10 School Street. And I think everyone had a good night, but I'll let other people that attended weigh in on that. But we didn't have a chance to talk about that. And actually, Zillian and Tom and I haven't had a chance to get together and talk about what we felt went well and what we would change for the next business social. But I think they're gaining some traction, and I think it's a good way for the businesses to get together and meet each other and hear what's going on in town. But does anyone else have any comments about the business social?
I thought it was great. And it was just fascinating to be in that barn with all that history.
That is amazing. That was a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Zilly and Michelle, thank you for doing all that work, because it's a lot of preparing and so forth and so on. And I want to just appreciate that you both worked on that, and Tom also.
Mm-hmm.
And we
So-
had all these intentions to try to like debrief right away afterward when everything's fresh, to make notes for like next time. And then of course we still haven't done it. A debrief.
Yeah, but it was a very active meeting. It was a very active social. So how can you like calm down and just kind of write that out? You know what I mean? It was very active. A lot
Yeah.
of people, very active, a lot of information.
A lot of
Yeah.
wine. No time to write after that. No.
No time to write. No, it was really nice. It was nice to see everyone.
Yeah.
Thought it was great to
I-
see the updated vision and updates on the DPW building too.
Mm,
Yeah.
I forget
it's
the
a great
address, so I'm
topic.
going to say DPW building. But yeah.
yeah.
10 School. Is
All
it
right.
Ave or Street? Did we ever decide? Ave?
Just 10
It's
school.
Av.
10
Yeah.
School.
Yeah, 10 School. Just call it that.
And I really
yeah,
appreciated, like, it's nice. I don't know if there's been anything like that in the past before I was, as a business owner in town. It's nice to be out and about and seeing people and recognizing people that you might not have in the past,
Right.
Um,
right.
like, I don't know. A lot of people I did already know, but it's just a different, like, say I bump into Wes at the co-op, like, you've had this shared experience now. So it's not just like, oh, I know who you are, you know who I am. It's more like, oh, we've done some stuff together. It feels good for us to feel that with the other businesses.
No, you're right, Zilly. And Jonathan, who's his wife was Tracy Burns, who she owned the Perfect Cut Hair Salon, and she passed away. So he's technically the owner now. So it was, I mean, I know him very well. It was really nice for him to be involved with his sister-in-law, Sean, because he does own that business now. And I think it's good for him just for his own moral support and everything. So it was really nice that he was invited and attended.
For sure.
We already have an offer. If we take them up on it, on where to hold the next one, which was the Evermore at Pierce Farm on Route 1.
Mm.
That's awesome. Let me see if I have
All
any
right.
notes.
So that was us transitioning into the town administrator updates, and I took the first item. So Kevin, I'll officially turn it over to you if you have other items, which I know you do.
I have a few. It's good to see everybody. It's been a little while since we got everybody together. So, a lot happening in town, a lot happening at getting to budget season, different things that we're working on, a lot of balls in the air. But specifically around economic development and some of the things I want to just highlight. First couple are going to be ones that are kind of the cursor. You wouldn't necessarily think of it as economic development, but there is an actual value to these things that I'm going to update everyone on. And the first one is National Grid. They're putting multi-million dollars worth of infrastructure to create redundancy in our lines. As you know, we're an above ground overhead line community, and we have a lot of trees in Topsfield, which is good. but when it's windy and it storms, those trees come down many times, causing issues with our power. Working with Grid for the last few years, there's a 2-phase project that they've been working on for a little while, and they've just completed the first phase. Second phase is in permitting, but these 2 projects are basically improving the infrastructure and the transfer, not the generators, the electrical transfer boxes, as well as the creating redundancy in that if a line gets snipped, it actually reverts backwards now and comes back around to create some redundancy. So power outages will be still take place, but they'll be seconds versus hours and hours and hours and potentially days. In most cases, not every case, but being an above ground electrical community, that's important for our residents, but also for our businesses as well. Because when we lose power, not just everyone thinks of the resident and the inconvenience, but there's also the impacts to the business community. So we're very thankful for our partnerships with National Grid, and they're paying attention to Topsfield's needs and addressing those. The second is a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more in your face, but it's the tennis courts at Proctor. Thanks to an earmark we received from the state last year, we were able to resurface the tennis courts, and now we've also added lines for pickleball. And part of the deal was, under the auspice of economic development, being strategically located right near the rail trail and a few steps from Jakesdorf and many other businesses downtown. We're going to be putting a sign up. I think it went up today, actually. That's right at that edge of where if Proctor's on your back and the tennis court to the left side, there's a gate there. It's also a gate to the right side, but the left side, right where the rail trail goes through the parking lot, it comes back up. We put a sign up there that says Topsfield Center with an arrow and shopping and dining at the bottom. Similar to the wayfinding signs we have throughout town on the road. This is for the rail trail users, as well as for those coming downtown to use the pickleball. Just a slight reminder, right, that there's things happening just a few steps down that walkway. A lot of people come down, they play tennis, pickleball, and then they spend some time in the downtown, but not everyone does. This might generate a little bit of buzz, a little bit of business. It's just a nice little reminder. It doesn't hurt, it helps. But we put that up there with the pickleball / tennis court improvements. 10 School Ave. We'll go with Ave. 10 School Ave is moving along. We have a signed purchase and sales agreement, and now they're doing due diligence on the property. I'm meeting tomorrow morning with the buyer and his team. This meeting is about multiple things, but one of the key elements is improvements to School Ave, which is including a sidewalk and lights going down, and then improvements to the head walls on the bridge getting into the property where the box top on the right is located and the footprint for where the restaurant is. They are going through some of the design elements of it, and they're trying to figure out how to make it work, because there are some limitations with its existing footprint, or not the footprint, but the existing sort of structural components of it. You need certain clearance in a restaurant, and they're trying to figure out how to make it work, but none of it's creating any dynamic other than what we expected, which is going to take a little bit of work to make it all come together, but they're actively doing so in a good space. Next update's Alfalfa Farm. That's a group that we've been working very closely with for a very long period of time, over the last year plus, as they've worked through their permitting processes. They received all 3 state required liquor licenses, and they submitted for the local liquor license Wednesday of last week, and we have a public hearing on the 6th to discuss it. ALAC, or Alcohol Licensing Advisory Committee, is going to try to schedule something prior to that and make recommendations or give feedback to the applicant. They're anxious to move quickly on that. They're working through their building, as you can see, but they're still working through some approvals with our conservation and with our stormwater at the planning board, as well as with our Board of Health regarding the septic and the location and some venting. Basically, he's got the owners getting the list of what he needs to do, and then he's basically working through that and then resubmitting to get all the necessary approvals. Been working really closely with him. Good person, good group to work with. Super excited for what's going to come out of this. Huge win for Topsfield. saving the farm and then activating the space in a similar way, but I think in a more purposeful manner that'll generate a lot of buzz, not just here in Topsfield, but I think in a regional, especially considering the prime location right on the highway. So you think about the Pocket Park last year, we've got Alfalfa Farm putting up this fall, and then we're looking at next year, hopefully, 10 School Ave and the restaurant downtown. We're gonna have some really great options in Topsfield, and the momentum's great. Also have the owner of the Petco. He's got 2 potential tenants that I've been meeting with as well. And we're working through what they're trying to do. The first one was trying to do something that's not allowed by zoning. He modified their plan a little bit to possibly allow what they're going to do by a special permit, but it would be a really great use, something we don't have in Topsfield that I think people would like to see anyway, which is a little boutique type market. The idea that they're pitching is something like a Henry's or a Crosby's, which would be great. It's not Henry's, it's not Crosby's. So, it's they've got some work to do. It's a new partnership that's looking to do something in that space, but be exciting use in that potentially. They've got a long way to go, so it's hedging a little bit, but they're starting down the path. Caleb Group, that is the Emerson Homes project. That's the 45 units of affordable housing, 44 units of affordable housing located right in our downtown, right behind the Emerson Center. They got funding about a month ago to move forward with the project, which was really what was holding it up the last couple of years. So they're going. They're going to be presenting in front of the select board in October, give an update, and they'll be coming and they'll be having community meetings to update people on what that project looks like, but very similar to what they presented in the past. There'll be 60% AMI and 30% AMI. That means 60% average median income and 30% average median income. 30% is considered what they call formerly homeless and formerly homeless housing. And there'll be, I think, about 10 units that they're creating for that. And then one market unit, and then the remaining units will be, I believe, 60% AMI. But they're going to be working through their process, and we'll be right there with them to make sure we have a good handle on what they're doing and understanding what the impacts could be and what the benefit is going to be for those who are looking for housing here in Topsfield and beyond.
So someone people were asking if Topsfield residents who qualify get any, first dibs.
Yes, there'll be a preference for Topsfield residents. It's a need. We've talked about this before. I think, we have very little apartments options for people here in Topsfield, and we've done really well. This will get us over 10% affordable housing, which is something very significant for a community like Topsfield. A lot of towns our size aren't there yet. They haven't have the amount of affordable housing that we have, but a diversified housing stock is a good thing, and it doesn't take away from anything that we are. It adds, I think, opportunities. You talk about the circle of life when it comes to housing, the housing life. People who have made a life here, they've raised their kids here, they've gone to a point where they might be empty nesters living in a 3,000-4,000 square foot home, and they're on fixed incomes when they get to retirement age, and many times having these options to allow people to stay affordable, reasonably affordable options. We have Great Hill, we have English Common, we have Rolling Green. We have got some really great inventory for seniors, but that niche right in the middle, that workforce housing, people who workforce people who live in our community, who have homes here in our community, be able to stay in our community is really super important. So hopefully this will help with that. And to your point, Leslie, there is a Topsfield preference, but I remember at a zoning board meeting, the developer was asked directly by the planning board chair or the zoning board chair, "Is this for Topsfield people?" And he was honest. He said, "No, we should expect people from outside our community coming."
Oh, yeah, I know, no doubt, but just that those that are Topsfield residents who apply would get first consideration
As long as
if they qualify.
Meet the qualifications
Yeah.
and not have too many assets or income. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's design wise, we worked really hard with them when they first came in. It was a rectangle, flat roof. and it was not a Topsfield. Did not fit the look and the feel. And I was at the table and I told them, this is 99% of people in this community will never step foot in your housing, but they'll judge it based on what it looks like. And I said, right now, you need to get back to the drawing board. And they did. They hired a new architect and they dormered the roofs. They put mullions on the windows. They added some really nice elements that I think added to it. It's also going to be built as long as the funding holds up, it'll be built with the highest level of sustainability in mind as well, which is good. It's a good thing. Charging stations and a lot of electrification and how it's going to be cooled and heated, which are also good things. So a lot more to do with that, but that's by way of update to this group, an update on that project, which will obviously have an impact from an economic development standpoint. Last two, these are kind of fun things. The 375th anniversary of Topsfield's incorporation in 1650 is October 16th. Happens to be shared with our planning board chair Martha Morrison as well. And she, we're on the 18th, 2 days later, we're going to be doing a celebration. Historical presentation by John Kinnan, a resident of town, the first 100 years of Topsfield. And then following that, will be out on the steps of Town Hall. We're going to have a flag raising and some proclamations from our state delegation. And then following that, we're going to have a block party. Remember, our block party is out the highway garage. Be a little bit different, but it's going to be similar in that we'll have a block party at the COA patio, which is that space we created last fall right next to the building. From about first, the historical part will be at 3, the flag raising at 4. And then the block party will be basically after the flag raising around 4:30 until about 7:30. We'll have food trucks. We're going to actually have Alfalfa Farm there to serve their beer. We're going to have Marble Ridge Winery to serve their wine. That's the operator going into 10 School Ave. So we very strategically and purposely asked, and they've said yes to being our 2 providers of beverages. We'll also stay local with the Whoopie Wagon, planning at least 1 food truck. Possibly our local firefighters might be able to fry up some hot dogs as well. We're having a band, and the fair has agreed to give us their old hay bales and their flowers to decorate the patio with for the event as well. Prior to the event, the teams, Martha Morrison and John Kinnan, are going to be at the schools, the elementary schools. We've ordered mini Topsfield flags for every student, and we've got flyers for the event that we'll be giving them. And they're going to do a fun 30-minute presentation on the history of Topsfield and invite them to come to our activities that day. And so we should hopefully have a little flex of people coming into downtown that day, which, it's a fun celebration. We're also talking about 250, which is next year, the country's birthday next year. But that's very preliminary. And the last thing I'll mention, I don't think anyone might be aware of this big surprise, but we have the Topsfield Fair coming in a couple of weeks.
Kevin, I have a question. When is that event that's going to take place at the town hall and the patio? What's the date of that?
October 18th, Saturday.
Oh,
First
okay.
takes off at 3 p.m.
I thought you said 16th,
I should mention,
18th.
It's a
What's that?
Saturday? It's okay.
Saturday the 18th, yes.
Okay.
And I should mention we will be serving alcohol, so we need a sponsor for the event. And we're working with 2 people, one of which is the TCP, who's willing to step up and also represented here at the ECDC, Sarah Guido. So just want to say a shout out to her group, and her always willingness to support these events in our downtown. They don't happen with people stepping up and saying we can help. And Sarah, before I can even finish my sentence, is like, well, yeah, of course we can. We'll help any way we can, Kev. So that's what it's all about. We really appreciate that, Sarah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to help. We're going to be hosting a French exchange student, so I'm excited to bring her to this event.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And people are welcome and slightly encouraged to wear period clothing if they so choose.
Oh my gosh.
Not big, but it's something.
Will you be doing that? I think you should be.
Well, that's good.
I got rid of my Civil War era clothes, so we can't be doing that.
We can find you some, Kevin. No worries.
Yep. Salvation Army.
Tim has some in his
Topsfield
barn.
Historical has some, I think, at the Carson Capen House.
Go up to the barn, just pick out my wardrobe for the night.
And your
I'll take-
weapon.
If any event called for a town crier to open it, it's this one.
Eerie.
So
No, we
uh,
excited.
what's the progress on the shopping plaza sign?
Oh, it literally they fell off the face of the earth. We had a price, we had design, we had specifications and everything. And I think the patriarch, the father, has been ill. And so the son and the daughter have been periodically responding, but very rarely. So I think they gave us a very aggressive price. And I think as a result, they kind of put us at the bottom on the list for finishing the project off. But we have everything approved. The money's there. This contract signed. It's just a matter of them saying we're in fabrication and we're coming this day to install.
Well, is it going to go in before the ground freezes?
I can't promise anything, Leslie. They've been very.
I mean, it feels like, why wasn't this all like wrapped into the pocket park so we could have gotten, what we needed at the same time? I'm representing the rest of the plaza too. We're frustrated that this hasn't been taken care of soon.
Well, you got a beautiful pocket park out of it, and the sign is going to be made and put in the ground. So I would just say I hear you, and we are almost on a weekly basis been reaching out. And at certain points, and this, you're a business owner, you're at the mercy of your vendors. If we have to, we'll pivot. But the price they gave us was very good, and
you get what you pay for, right?
Well, they're actually the same vendor that put up all the wayfinding signs, which were really, really done well and came back with a lot of positive results. We've worked with other sign vendors on other signs, and I think the actual product they've delivered has been the best of anything we've worked with. But that's the trade-off: get good price, good product. It's just the in-between part of getting them to do it.
I have a suggestion. Why, and I'm not really in the plaza, but why couldn't we have a banner with all the signs on it posted in the same area? Why couldn't we have a banner printed up and with all the names of the
Temporary.
businesses there until we get the real one? I mean, that can't cost a lot of money. I would
Well,
think.
I mean, even I have to say that aesthetically, that's not really what we want.
Yeah, but Leslie, wouldn't it help bring people in with the names of the businesses there temporarily? Because right now you have nothing. I would
Well, you
think
have to go out on bid on that too, so I'm sure that's going to take time.
okay, I was just making a suggestion that would try to help.
Hmm.
I'll do
Leslie,
this.
we share your frustration. It has not been fun for Kevin's team to have to reach out to these folks. So
So I'll ask Debbie. She just got back from being away last week. I'll ask her at some point before the end of today. I can hear her in the other room. Just to get an update and make sure she followed up again this week with the vendor.
Have you had any other conversations with Peter Flomp about making some other improvements around the plaza, especially for safety issues?
I don't know, have you? I mean, I think no, I think the direct answer is no, we have not. The closest thing in conversations I've had with Peter has been regarding the end cap, where there's a potential tenant coming in there.
What? The end cap of what?
Of the plaza. So the
gift tours.
the
What?
end.
Where
Oh,
the
yeah,
former gifts,
potential
where the
tenant,
former gift,
yes.
the
Yeah,
former
so
gift house built.
what's the progress on that?
So there's a tenant potentially. Well, the tenant coming in, they believe they've got all their approvals at this point, and they should. I thought they were breaking ground last week, but I haven't seen any activity. But to be fair, I
They're
haven't
over
been
there.
look at it.
They started.
They did.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's
Yeah.
great.
So there is
Yeah.
a tenant potentially coming in on that end cap. I know that I've talked with Aldo, and Aldo, who owns the Dawson's Ace Hardware. He's actually shared a couple ideas of things he might want to do in addition to what they're doing right now in that area, which is fantastic. And then I don't know. Lastly, I think there's a couple of those tenants. Maureen over at the Perfectly Imperfect has basically she's indicated she's looking for more space as well, which is great. She's had a really successful run, and so she's looking at. Last time I talked to her, I went and popped in a few weeks ago, and she said she's looking at trying to find more space as well in Topsfield.
Yeah, she said she wants to do classes in the space between curves and perfect cut. However, that space needs a lot of remediation of black mold. So she doesn't think, it's really up to Peter if he wants to put the money in. So, it's in his time, not our time, obviously, so I can't. And he's not willing to put the time into, to repaving the parking lot and restriping it and doing some other things, and I just don't see that happening, but I could be wrong.
Does anyone else have
Has
any
there-
questions? Any of the things going on?
I wanted to ask, you mentioned the Topsfield Fair, and it reminded me about the whole, speaking of signs, the whole A-frame thing. Remember on that corner
Yeah.
of South
Yeah.
Main? Was there ever any was there any follow up or follow through on anything there from anybody that anyone knows about?
I think it was a
Is that
record.
like the beer, is that like the beer garden, that new building they built? Is that what you mean, Zilly?
No, I mean, remember last year, when Maureen didn't realize that it was outside of our bylaw, not permitted, but she put an A-frame
Oh, yes, the
right where
sandwich,
the
like,
street,
like sandwich boards or whatever.
yeah,
Yes,
sandwich board, yeah.
Okay, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, sandwich board is probably a better term.
No, I know,
Um,
no,
Yeah, so, and then we had thought about because there is a wayfinding sign there, but I remember last year we were like, well, next year when the fair comes is when it's sort of like, just so you know, there is a downtown down there. I didn't know if had been any follow up.
No,
My
because
recollection, I chair to weigh in on this if my recollection is not right, but I think there was a subcommittee of this group, including Maureen, who suggested it, who was going to look into that further. And then I think
That's
possibly
right.
with her resignation and really the spirit she brought to that concept, I don't think it was the. I don't know if it had any more traction, but I don't know if you know anything differently.
no, it just,
No, you got it.
I was gonna be on that subcommittee and it just kind of fell apart. And Alex Karazi, I think, was gonna be on it too, but we were all sort of busy with other stuff, and I never really count on the fair bringing in business, because when people come to the fair, they pay for parking there and they pretty much plant themselves at the fair, so it's not a concern for me. But
Yeah, at least it
Yeah.
brings awareness though. Like, I'm not saying for that sign, but we found that people come in sometimes before or after having been at the fair.
yeah, people
mostly coming and
to
looking
park
for our
free at our
bathroom.
parking plaza. That's what they do. They come to park.
We've had people coming in, they're really looking for the bathroom, and then they'll just get like a canned drink or something, so that some of them. But a lot of times you'd hear them saying, like, I had no idea there's just this little downtown here.
Right.
So
And they
the
come
hope
back
is
in the
that then those
future.
people would come
Yeah.
back,
Yeah,
not for that day, but
Well, that does beg the question, Kevin. You know, that sign that is on the corner of South Main and Route 1 that says, "Welcome to Topsfield,"
Yes.
Really nice one. I mean, what if it was modified and underneath it, there was just a little sign that said downtown businesses this way, like a little placard underneath? That would be.
It's a great idea.
no-brainer.
It's funny you mentioned that, Leslie. We did talk about doing that when we were doing the wayfinding signs globally.
Yeah.
I think what we landed on is that the entire sign should be repainted because it's been faded pretty good, and kind of do it together. And then it hasn't been something that we've been able to prioritize again. But something simple. Exactly. We had the exact same thought. It was like, can we just put like an arrow in the air businesses? Something super simple. We have the one across the street that we wayfinding signs. So before you even approach that on the right, if you're coming from Danvers, coming northbound,
Yeah.
there's a sign before you get to that South Main crossing.
It's a beautiful sign, but people zip down that hill, and I'm telling you, they just don't see that sign like they would see something right where that "Welcome to Topsfield" sign is.
So I wonder, because this was sort of just a follow-up question to some of the other updates, maybe we need to revisit, may I suggest that maybe for a future agenda, we revisit the idea of subcommittees and have a group to actually follow through on the sign questions, because it would take a little, some digging and homework, maybe maybe it'll be motivation to install the plaza sign. We'll say, if you get this
Oh,
one done,
that's a
we
great
can have
idea.
new business for you.
I think it's a great idea. That's a great idea, Zilly. Yes, I think it's a
But I
great
think
idea.
we have the idea, modifying the welcome to Topsfield sign, done. Why
Well,
can't we
someone
just
has to
look into that?
execute.
Yeah.
We have to
it's-
delegate like
well,
a
I mean,
subcommittee to execute the
so-
task.
So
And then the
I'm just,
funding, and then the funding
hold on,
part.
but where,
Can
I
I
have a
just say-
question that
Well,
goes.
hold on one second, Leslie. It's 6:33. I need to run to select board meeting.
Oh,
We want to just add this as an agenda item for November.
sure.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay. So with that, I'm sorry, Leslie, we just have to,
That's
I have to
okay.
get going. So the last motion of the meeting, anyone want to make it?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And roll call, Tom Capano,
Aye.
Leslie Voss,
I,
Zili Boujou,
Aye.
Karen Haratunian,
Aye.
Sarah Guido,
Aye.
Jake Monroe.
Hi.
And I didn't do this for the other ones. Michelle Mercier Link, aye. And I'm also going to say for all the other things we voted on today, 2 agendas in the charter, Michelle Mercier Link, aye.
And if I could, sorry, this is a little bit of an add-on, but just for the next meeting, just I'll volunteer to do minutes for the next meeting because for me, I need to know coming into the meeting that I have that task.
mm,
Got it.
And
They're
then
all
we
yours.
can assign as we go. Yeah. All right. Thank
Awesome.
you.
All right. Meeting is ended. Thank you all.